Hey, this is Brad with 40 Tech. Today we're on a Cadillac Escalade. We're going to show you how easy it is to pop in one of our start-stop eliminators so you don't have to hit the button every single time you get in the vehicle. First, we're going to remove this trim panel below the steering wheel. There's a 7mm screw that we're going to remove from the underside right here. We're not going to remove the panel completely. We're just going to remove enough to get it pulled out of the way so we can release other panels. Now that 7mm screw is released, we can put our hand in between the steering column and the panel and simply pull out. Again, just enough to flex it out of the way. Next, we're going to remove this 7mm screw right here so that we can remove the panel up above with the engine start-stop switch and the climate controls. We'll set that screw aside. Next, we'll remove the side panels on the left and right hand side of the center console. Simply get your fingers in behind the side panel and give them a good pull. You can go ahead and separate them from the side, just working along, getting all the little clips out of the way. On the right hand side, we'll need to flex the front edge out from behind the trim panel alongside the glove box here. And we'll need to pull it over into the seat a little bit to get it out of the way. We'll set that aside. Then we'll do the same thing on the driver's side. Now, please note that this panel actually goes in and tucks behind this lower panel that we started pulling out earlier. So once we get towards the front edge, we'll need to be careful. Flex this out of the way. Next, we'll go ahead and we will remove this trim panel here with the climate controls in it. We'll start just at the bottom edge, get our fingers underneath, give it a good pull. We'll work our way across. We'll rotate it over, and then we need to remove the two electrical connectors. There's one for the climate control and one for the engine start-stop switch. These little red tabs are secondary locks. We need to simply use a little screwdriver, pull them up about 1/4 inch. Then we can use our thumb to depress the release tab and pull it out. We'll go ahead and we'll rotate this panel over so we can get the secondary retention tab on the engine start-stop switch and remove that in the same way. We can just set that up on the dash out of the way. Now that the two side panels are removed, it'll expose a 7mm screw at the front edge on either side. We'll go ahead and remove those. Now that that's complete, we can lift this entire center panel up and over the shifter assembly. Simply grab at the back edge wherever you can and give it a good pull. This front corner is going to be the tightest because it tucks in behind the panel around the glove box. Now we'll gently wiggle this up as high as we can to get access to the electrical connector behind the auto start-stop switch. Next, we're going to go ahead and disconnect the electrical connector below the auto start-stop switch located right here. You'll see that there's a red secondary lock tab that, like the others, we'll need to use a little screwdriver and just pull down on it. Now we can go in with our thumb and press that connector and wiggle it out, and there it is. And here's a better view of where we're pressing to release it right there. Now we'll take the start-stop eliminator and simply plug it in line with that electrical connector and the back of the switch. Now that that's snapped in, we're going to go ahead and tuck the excess so it doesn't get pinched, and we'll reassemble the vehicle. Now that the start-stop eliminator is plugged in, we'll go ahead and reassemble the vehicle. We'll start with the center console area. We'll get the front edge in, especially on the right-hand side here over by the glove box. Get that underneath there. We'll take a moment to get everything lined up before we try and push it down into place. Get that all latched into place. Next, we'll replace the two 7mm screws, one on either side. While we're here, we can replace the side panel. Gently set this between the seat and the console. Now remember, we're going to need to flex this front edge in a little bit and get it behind the dash trim. Once it's lined up, you can go ahead and snap it right back into place. Next, we'll go ahead and we'll plop the driver's side panel back on. Now we will need to work this in behind the panel below the steering wheel. Take a moment to get this all lined up. Snap that into place. Next, we can reinstall the climate control panel, remembering to plug in both electrical connectors. The center one there is the climate control, and the other one is the engine start-stop switch. Make sure we tuck the wiring in the dash so it doesn't get pinched. Line everything up. Snap that into place. Now we'll replace the 7mm screw that was below the engine start-stop switch right here. Now we'll clip the under dash panel that goes around the steering column into place. Lastly, we'll replace the 7mm screw down here, the bottom corner below the steering column. Now the install is complete. Now that the install is complete, we'll go ahead and start the vehicle for the first time. As you can see, by default, the auto start-stop system is turned off each time you start the vehicle. If for any reason it doesn't on the first time after install, go ahead and turn it off. And now you'll see every single time we start the vehicle, it turns the auto start-stop system off. At any point in time, if you'd like to turn it back on, simply press the button, it turns the system on, and it will remember that state as well. Now you see how easy it is to pop in one of our start-stop eliminators from 4D Tech. I'm Brad. Thanks for checking out our video.